Hello, everybody, and welcome back. All right, at this point, we're going to move on with the Outlook meeting invite, which I think a lot of people were interested in. So I'm going to start with the single kind of invite for yourself, and I'm going to do that based on uh, an attached file. Use a picture this time. Um, so again, if I use the functional script document, I'm looking at the import meetings. The option one is single meeting um, with required and optional attendees. So we're going to take that first AI interaction, so the first prompt, and we're going to say who we are. Remember, I put in there you don't need to include the domain of Durham College, but I noticed that it likes that, so I decided to include that. So yours is optional, and it's going to ask. All right, sorry, I've guided towards a file, so I'm going to actually upload the barbecue file. Sorry, and if you remember, I said if you click file, it will not find pictures. I just made that mistake, so don't get too confused. Simply close that, go add an image, upload from this device, and it will take you to your images, at which point I'll put in the employee barbecue. I always ask it to share the information with me so I can do a health check to make sure that that information is accurate. And so now it's analyzing the image, and it should cough out some pretty accurate details for me on this as it has in the past. All right, so you can see it's Wednesday, August 28th. And I never liked the fact that it doesn't include 2024. So if you remember in the script document, I actually always kind of state that, right? But it's added some information, so it's good. You'll see here too, it's trying to attend with me, or sorry, trying to interact with me. And so it's good to interact with it. So even though I'm going to put in the next functional script, I can sit there and say, great, add a little, yes, I am planning to attend, and you can help me. Using your summary, can you create the content for an ICS file? And again, you want to create the content for an ICS file because the application itself is not able to create the ICS file. And I called out that it's in 2024. I've also given it required attendees, going back to Jonathan and Tanya, and optional attendees, Tony and Amanda at the time. And I just hit go, at which point it should look back at its information and then create the ICS file. And that ICS file will be information that we can use to actually create the ICS file rather than expecting Copilot to create it for us. All right, so let's give it a moment to do its thing, and then I'll walk you through what comes next. So you can see how it's kind of said something and put it in there with its own little copy up here, which means now I can just copy this information. I don't have to copy the opening or the closing that it will put in there. But as you read through, you can start to see certain things like there's the date and the time, and you can see other information in there that suggests different things, right? So what we're going to do then is go up and copy this information, and we're going to put it into an ICS file. So the trick I showed you is I can right click here and actually go to new and just create a text document, which then allows me to actually work from a text document in this location. I've made new text document number 3. Doesn't really matter which one it is. It's just duplicating itself. But once I open it, sorry, it opened in a different window, so I'm going to drag it over here. Actually, where did it go? Try that again. Okay, now drag it over here. And we can take a look at it. And when I do that now, I'm going to just paste. And you'll see it's got the begin calendar, the end calendar, just like we saw here in the background, at which point I go File, Save As. And one of the tricks here is it will save it as a text document unless we say All Files. And once we go to that, we get to call it what we want to. And so we're going to call it the barbecue new.ics. And it's just internet calendar file, the ICS naming convention that Microsoft uses in Outlook. So we're going to go with that, hit save, and we will find that it is actually an ICS file. I'll pull that back up here. We'll see that it is now in as an ICS file. It even says it's an Outlook file ICS.15, which is great. All right. Now, what do we do with that? We need to have our Outlook open. And with our Outlook open, we're going to go to our calendar. And from our calendar, this. I'm going to go under File and then to Open and Export. And here, because it's just coming to me, I can open a calendar. Remember, when it goes more complex, I need to import. But because it's just for one invite for me to govern to the other people, I can hit Open Calendar, which will then ask me for the ICS file, at which point now I have to actually find my ICS file. Mine's under Event Day Content, and I go to the new, and it's going to prompt me and says it has got a potential issue because it doesn't know where it's coming from. And okay, because I created it and I'm sharing it, at which point it will open it up into a file and allow me to take a look at it. And you can see that it says 12 to 2 p.m. You can see that it's got Jonathan and Tanya in the required, Tony and Amanda in the optional, gives us a description. It even gives us a location. So at this point, I can hit save if I want to, and then it would put it in everybody's calendar. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to exit out because I don't want to save the changes and put it in everybody's calendar. It was just to show you where we're going to be. All right, so that's part one. I'm going to end it here and do a separate video for the multiple meeting scenario.